Hey guys, welcome to another episode of my team here on F122. It's the Hungaroring this time around. I'll try and refrain from making many Hungary puns, but fingers crossed we can have a decent race weekend. We were not as competitive in France as we have been recently, but still all told, a P12 in only really just past the halfway stage of Season 1 is actually still a very good result. So we have been, well, blessed, really, fortunate to have had so many points finishes so far this season. I don't know how competitive we'll be at Hungary, but because it's more aero-based and not quite so straight line speed skewed, hopefully we might be a bit more competitive here. But traditionally the AI are strong around Hungary. It's dubbed the Monaco without walls. We always kind of refer to that every time we race here. But I do enjoy it. It's a fun circuit to drive, even though I'm not necessarily that fast at it. But hopefully, like I say, we can have a decent weekend. We've got some new bits on the car. We'll be making sure this time that we do change our components before qualifying and don't end up taking massive grid penalties. One thing to note as we're on our way in today, this is my last video, and for those that are watching live on stream for about 4 or 5 days. As you see this on YouTube, Wednesday morning, about an hour after this goes live, I take off and I'm in Canada for 4 days. I come back Saturday night into Sunday morning, and well, jet lag is a thing, so I'm not envisaging streaming again until at least Sunday night, if not Monday. So from Wednesday till Monday or Tuesday next week, there won't be any uploads here on the ChesnoidPlays channel. I apologise, but rather evidently, I can't pre-record streams the way that you can pre-record YouTube videos. So the main YouTube channel, the FIFA content, continues until Thursday. Then we're having a little break there because I need feedback from you guys for the transfer window in the Nottingham Forest career mode. But here on ChesnoidPlays, this will be the last video for a few days. Please do come back when I get back. I'd love to see the content continue to do as well as it has done here on the channel. You guys have been showing great support on the F122 content here, both on YouTube and on Twitch, and I'd love to see you back in a few days' time. Please don't forget about me. I'm just going away for 4 days and then I'm back again. So hopefully you'll come back and join me. Oh no, potential rain for the race. Starting dry and getting wet at the end. Ha. Okay, mixed conditions then. We do have new side pod profiles. We do have new improved materials for the ICE. We do have upgraded pistons for engine power this weekend. Dry for practice 1, which is where we'll do all of our work. Dry for quali, and then a dry start to the race, but moving to wet weather. But again, we have weather settings on approximate, not perfect. So where it looks like it's going to get a little bit more chance of rain in the middle of the race and then perhaps see dry up again, it might not actually rain. If it does, it might not rain hard enough to force wet weather running until the very end of the race. But we saw in Canada that the first 2 modules there of the 8 both said rain. So you would have thought that then that was a quarter of the race would be rain, but it was just 2 laps of the 70 that had rain. So that's how inaccurate an approximate forecast can be. So judging by that, we can presume that it probably will rain at some point, but we've no idea how much or when. Yikes. Right, practice for some resource points, and then from there, fingers crossed, we're able to qualify and race well. Yeah, I think I'm happy enough. I think I'm happy enough to run preset 2 there and think that we get the right balance between aero and straight line speed. The custom setup was much better with aero, but straight line speed, there just isn't much there. Maybe when we've got more power in the engine, then we can contemplate winding the downforce on. But I think we're learning from that French Grand Prix especially that we really need to, especially whilst the AI are really strong in a straight line, we need to make sure we balance aero and straight line speed a little bit better, rather than just leaning straight into the aero and then finding out that, oh, actually, we need a bit more straight line speed. So apparently right now we are the slowest car on the performance index, as others, Williams have made a jump and we haven't made as big a jump this weekend, although as you can see, we've got a lot of things in development right now. But a number of things fail, unfortunately, throughout the course of the season, which has meant that we've been struggling to keep up with everybody else. Yeah, I think we're right where we are. Okay, well, time for quali then. Off we go. Well, actually, we'll see what resource points we get first from those practice sessions. Should be a decent enough haul. We didn't quite get everything. Teo didn't get anything. Thanks, Mr. Porsche. Not great, pal. Kind of needed more from you there, to be honest. Anything at all would have been nice. That's annoying. Never mind. It just means that our progress is slightly slower. To qualifying, then. Okay, so second lap in Q1. It's much faster. Fast enough for P12. We put in a lap time that puts us in a position where we ended the last Grand Prix. Although, of course, there is now Q2 to come, but that was a 17.9. Well, I seem to be about 1.2 seconds off the fastest times, don't I? Teo qualifies P20, unfortunately. He is not showing the level of qualifying and race pace that we saw at the beginning of the season. He's falling away, Teo, unfortunately. Which is a shame, but I couldn't really afford anyone better, so we just stuck with Teo. Next season, we'll certainly make an upgrade with regards our second driver. But going out for Q2, then, we shall look to improve. There are apparently... Oh, no, it's dry for all of quali. I saw the rain on the right-hand side at the top there and thought, hang on, we're going to get some wet running in qualifying. No, we're not. Yeah, 18.3. I don't feel like that was very good at all. Return to garage, I think we'll be significantly down the order for that. 14th or 15th, I'm anticipating. They were doing 116s, weren't they? They were doing 116s, so we've done 17.3, so I'm a 17... Everybody's going a bit slower then. It's currently P4, but that was my second run. So I'm not going out again, so we will just accelerate to the end of the session and see if we make it through to Q2. Charles Leclerc down in P12 needs to pull his finger out. I'm sure he will do. I think that knocked us down to about 12th or 13th again. Which is... no, it wasn't. 118.3 is enough only for P16. It was a poor lap, but a 117.9 that we did in Q1 would have only been good enough for 12th or 13th anyway. Unfortunately, Pierre Gasly out-qualifies me. Was a frustratingly scrappy lap, that. Never mind. Into the race, then. We won't be involved in Q3, because we didn't bloody qualify. Starting 16th, but there's definitely time on the table there. Absolutely time on the table there. Unfortunately, Pierre gets me back by 1 there, but I think overall on the rivalry we're still ahead. As you can see there, we definitely are. 7-5. Acclaim-wise going up across the board. And hopefully, with the right race strategy, we can make some moves forward there. We've got decent straight line speed, thanks to the fact that we've tweaked the setup slightly. And with time on the table, with DRS and ERS, fingers crossed some moves forward through the pack. I'm really, really intrigued to see what the other drivers do strategy-wise. Because you see where it says it's going to rain a little bit, potentially rain a little bit mid-race. I don't know if there's actually going to be enough rain there falling to warrant any sort of wet tyre running. It might just be a case of see it out, go slightly slower on the dry tyres that you've got, and still save or lose less time than stopping for a pit, for a set of inters, knowing that you'll have to stop for dries again, probably, as it dries up a bit before then it rains again. A bit all over the place, the weather in this one. I'm not really too sure how it's going to pan out. Sometimes you can kind of predict, but the way this might get wet and then dry and then wet again throws it completely open. George Russell, P1. Pole for George. Charles Leclerc in P2, though, in his Ferrari, less than a 10th off. Verstappen and Hamilton. Sainz and Perez? Sainz and Perez. We did a 117.9, was our fastest lap. Bottas. And they were... Yeah, 117.9 would have been decent, actually, for P10 in Q3. Tsunoda, though, about half a second off the pace. You can see that we definitely wouldn't have been any higher than 13th, I don't think. No penalties from anyone, though, so we do start 16th. Ocon and Albon, Porsche P20, Mick P20 after getting Porsche P19, Mick P20 after Stroll and Latifi picking up penalties, but they qualified behind us anyway. Mick from pole in the last Grand Prix to not very good time at all here. Right, I am tempted to go soft, medium, and then see if we can, or maybe even soft, hard, and see if we can avoid the rain at the end, or avoid an extra stop between now and the rain at the end. What's everyone else doing? There might be a number of hard starters. They are. George starts on softs though, so expect him from pole to just disappear down the road. I could start on the hards as well. I don't think that's the best play. I don't think that's the best play. Not with a number of soft runners around us. I think softs, then mediums, so we avoid the extra stop. And then try and hold track position until the rain comes. That, I think, is the plan. That, I think, is the plan. Soft, medium, soft. And then see when the rain comes. Oh, dearie me. I'm not stopping 3 times. Especially if there's going to be a wet stop in there as well. Here we go. Formation lap then. George Russell on pole. We start lower than we think we have pace for. Front runners, apart from George, mainly on hards, although Bottas there is on mediums in P8. The rest, soft from Tsunoda down. I don't think running a hard compound tyre early. If I'd have qualified, say, 12th, then I might have considered running the hard. But feeling like we have some places to make up, I feel like going soft at the beginning is definitely the way forward. I might pit slightly earlier for my mediums and try and get track position, if possible. But outside of that, I don't think we've got any better alternatives strategy-wise. Nice to see all of the sponsors on the helmet: the Distort, the Sunburst, the Echo. Pulling up into P16, starting on the inside of the track, calls a right-handed first turn. Starts have been something I haven't really had too much luck with so far. I haven't nailed them yet. I keep getting too much wheel spin at the back and losing traction. But I either get too much wheel spin at the back, or I bog down in the gears and then lose pace, lose revs, and still lose places. Ocon's leapt past me, and this is going to be an awkward first turn. I'm going to have to brake at just the right point, which we have done. Teo nearly wiped Alex Albon out. Latifi went up the inside and took a couple of places, and we are currently P19 after starting P16. Well, because I just can't seem to crack. Thanks, Nicholas. I am on your inside, pal. I'm on the inside there, and he's just turned across me. It's not the first time we've seen other cars do that. Get out of it that time. Our teammate did it to us in the last Grand Prix. I can't seem to crack race starts on F1 22 so far. Not really had much luck there. Teos go around my outside, but we'll cover him off.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
2 Williams in front of us should be passable.
Caution.
Oh, wings going Jesus, whose wing was that? Might have been Pierre Gasly's by the looks of things. You could see it tumbling down the road. Oh, I can't even concentrate properly with the glasses of destiny on. Whose front wing was that? Let's go on board with Gasly here. Oh, he's pulled out. He's pulled out to try and go round the Alpine in front and just not pulled out enough. Gone straight into the back. His front wing then goes tumbling down the road. Look at that. Tumbling down the road. Well, he is my rival, so that will help tremendously with that. But unfortunately for Pierre Gasly, he's out of the session, in fact. He's just fully retired. Oh. I didn't think he needed to fully retire. He could have surely fixed that damage in a pit stop. All right. Gasly out then. Can get a little bit follow the leader-esque around Hungary in the early few laps. I will try and make some moves if I can, especially once DRS is available. And if they still start to kind of concertina up, I'll try and nip in and steal the occasional position if I can. I need to be careful of underbody damage though around here, because there are some rather big curbs that will do rather sizable damage given the chance, so I have to be careful with that. Still P18 though after a couple of laps, at least for the time being. Got my teammates still right behind me. No faster cars out of position on the grid though. And look at George disappear down the road as well in P1. You can see him getting well away now from everybody else on those soft tyres. There has been an Aston Martin pit from behind us as well. I believe that would be Lance Stroll, because we certainly didn't gain any positions. I think Lance Stroll pit from last place. Nice to see Nicholas Latifi actually trying to make moves. Unless Ocon was... Don't even think about it, Teo. He thought about it. He's going for it. He might even pull it off. He has done. Teo says, done me. Guess what, pal? Well, never mind then, apparently. I was hoping I'd get you back, but you just closed the door and turned in on me. Probably wasn't really entitled to too much space there. Don't even think about it, Mick. Now Mick Schumacher's wanting to get involved. I need a Ferrari engine. Daniel Ricciardo's in the pits because he's picked up some damage. And Mick Schumacher has just driven straight around the outside of me. And we're down to P19. That wasn't part of the plan, was it? Again, having a rough start to a race on soft compound tyres. Pretty sure once we get onto the mediums, we'll be absolutely fine, but it's getting to that point. A lot of understeer in the car at the minute. On a heavy load. A lot of understeer. Ocon and Latifi still having a bit of a battle there. They're side by side again, heading up to the chicane. Latifi now on the inside. I have to be wary not to just run into someone as they all get held up here. But it does mean the other group of cars in front are just disappearing. Whether Ocon's carrying damage, maybe? I cannot seem to get my lines right through that middle sector today. Now Albon's having a look at Latifi. He's gone from maybe trying to get a place to maybe even losing a place. I am missing a bit of my front wing, I've just noticed. I imagine that's from when I tried to dive up the inside of Teo Pourchaire and he turned in on me around the penultimate corner.
You're catching the car ahead.
So we will have to change the front wing in our first stop. As will Teo now, because I just saw a bit of his end plate fly off as well. Let's check that to yes, and when we pit we will change our front wing. Mick's going to go around the outside at T4. Teo's going to get caught on the apex. They're side by side still into turn 5. I get up the inside of Teo maybe, and he'll lose 2 places in one. It's a bit brave to try it into the chicane like that. Lewis Hamilton out of the session. Mercedes. That's George. Lewis's engine's gone. The Mercedes is out. Engine failure for Lewis Hamilton. No safety car for that, I wouldn't have thought from there.
Yellow flag.
It's just back there. So that is Lewis out of the race. P18 for us now. As was the case in France, hoping for the strategy to come to us later in the Grand Prix. Teo pitting for a new front wing then. Now I've got a 2.8 second gap to try and close down to Mick Schumacher in front. Easier said than done.
Okay, Teo's in the pits. Teo in the pits.
I'm going to pit. Rather than go to the mediums, I'm going to go to the hards and try and take them all the way to the end of the dry running. I don't really have a choice. I'm just losing too much time. So we are going to be really slow though. That's the only thing. I'm going to put mediums on. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to put mediums on. I'm not going to go all the way to the hards. I'll put mediums on and hope that they last. Because our tyre wear was decent, wasn't it, on the mediums? Or was it the hards? Tyre wear was decent on the hards in practice. So an early stop, changing front wing, and medium tyres going on. This is going to be painful for our race. Really painful, but again, we hope it comes to us later in the Grand Prix. 7.5 second stop.
We're delighted with that. All right, we'll be doing one more stop.
There goes
today.
Teo.
One stop left in this strategy.
Get my temps up. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? I have to be very careful with what I do with the front of the car when diving in on people now. They're getting very aggressive and just turning across me. Happened at the very beginning with Latifi, and then my teammate just basically has forced me to stop because he turned it. Well, it was an ambitious move in the first place, but still, it might have been nice to get some space. This is the longest game we've played strategy-wise for the whole season, basically. The early stint in this Grand Prix now will be pretty damned lonely, but it will come to us at the end. It's a bit lonely at the minute, yeah, because we had to stop early for damage, but it should come back to us. Lance Stroll's pitting again. Daniel Ricciardo's pit again as well, and is coming out the pits in front of us up the end there. So now we're up to P19. If I can just get to the back of Daniel, I don't think it's going to be possible. I could maybe try and hang off the back of him, catch up with those in front, but we're just a little bit too far behind, it seems, at the minute. Teo's in the pits again.
Teo's coming in for his stop now.
Presumably, he didn't get any damage, did he? From getting passed by Daniel Ricciardo? No, just a stop for tyres, soft to soft. This is where, hopefully, the strategy will start to come back to us. Thank you for the follow, Tilma. We're expecting rain at the end of the race. We are expecting rain at the end of the race, so not necessarily sure what the strategy is at the minute. Currently, if it stays dry, soft, medium, soft. But it's quite easily not going to stay dry. But it's clearing up again. So where it said, remember on the strategy, not the strategy, on the weather forecast where it said it was going to get overcast and then lighten up again, that is this period now. It has gotten overcast, it has lightened up again, and we're expecting rain. Given the fact that it's happened this early in the race, I would perhaps expect rain about lap 50. We don't know how heavy it's going to come down. Yuki Tsunoda's in the pits. Soon to be out the pits. Try and catch him up down the straight if we can. He'll be putting his foot down very soon. There he is, coming up the pits. Yuki onto a set of softs. Soft tyres that will be cold right now. We'll try and get within DRS range of him if we can, but as soon as those tyres light up and are up to temperature, he will be gone. Here comes Lance.
Okay, so the car ahead's come in and fitted the soft tyre.
If Lance gets me, I'll try and stick in his DRS. Catch up with those in front. I say if Lance gets me, now that Lance has gotten me. Try and stick with him. I'm praying the strategy comes back to us again. It should do. But this exactly proves the point as to why I flashback when I get damage. Because otherwise every race would end up like this, if not more so. Where I'm at the back, out of kilter with everyone else, driving around doing nothing other than just driving around. It might as well be a time trial. And it doesn't make for good content. So whilst I appreciate those of you that are with me here on stream very much so, especially those of you that don't mind the fact that some races go like this regardless, I would very much like to not have races be like this the majority of the time, which is why I flashback when I get damage. Because it may well come to us later in the race again, but
We've moved ourselves up into
this isn't exactly fun watching, is it? And It just means the videos on YouTube are a lot shorter because there's not much going on. And shorter videos on YouTube means less content for you to watch, means for me less ads I can run, which means less money I make in my career. And as you understand, as you might well understand, I kind of need to make sure that I'm making enough money to pay my bills. I'm not one of the big YouTubers that can just throw out whatever he likes. I need to make sure that my content is optimized to the best of its ability to ensure that I get what I need to keep my career ticking over. And especially with 100% races, like, do you really want to watch me driving around for 50 laps on my own every episode? You don't. You want to see on-track battles, you want to see entertaining content, and a factor of that is flashbacking. There. I said my bit. The TV's having a look into the chicane is probably not the best of ideas, Nicholas. But he'll go for it. And he'll get it done.
We've lost a position, that's us down a place.
Brave move from Nicholas Latifi. Could quite easily have ended up with both of us getting a lot of damage there, but he's made it stick. Bit rude. I had to give him a lot of space. But I can absolutely appreciate and acknowledge a good overtaking manoeuvre when it happens. Well done, Nicholas. Daniel Ricciardo and Zhou Guanyu also pitting as well. Now they're going on to their medium tyres. It's Daniel Ricciardo coming out behind me. So we're up to P16. We're going to have a lot of work to do on our soft tyres at the end of the race, but hopefully that strategy will work. Provided I get a little bit more bullish in my defence, we can make track position king. I absolutely didn't expect Nicholas Latifi to throw it up the inside at the chicane, which is why I didn't go defensive. But he lunged up there, and I have to be prepared for that moving forward from other drivers as well. We are going to have to get aggressive in our defence to try and keep ourselves where we are and make this strategy work. God, I'm now more concerned with the Chesnoid racing car behind him than he is the Chesnoid racing car in front of him. 15 minutes till rain, apparently. 15 minutes till rain. Teo's in the pits again.
Okay, Teo's in the pits. Teo in the pits. Okay, gaps of the car ahead is 6.1
I'm going to go defensive. Daniel wants the position. He's going to have to go the long way round, and I'm not going to let him. You're not having it, Daniel. You're not having it. Fending my arse off right now. Never have I fought so bravely and so hard for a P16. Keeping track position is going to be vital. I'll give him a squeeze. Tighten his corner angle up. He's still alongside me down. You know, I've got the inside line. He's going to try and go around the outside. I'm not going to let him. Yuki Tsunoda's in the pits again. He's still around the outside. We've been able to hold on to the position again. This is going to turn into a real cat and mouse fight now for a while.
Tsunoda's in the pits.
Yuki's in the pits, and we are going to take Yuki this time. He came out of the pits in front of us last time he stopped. Here comes Zhou Guanyu trying to get involved. It's now a three-way fight for P16. Might make it slightly awkward as I try and defend from one and the other comes up the other side, but we'll try and manage it as best we can. Fighting very hard now defensively. This is how we make the strategy work for us. By holding track position and making ourselves very, very, very difficult to pass. Oh, Daniel went well wide there, came back on and just hit Zhou, I think.
Strategy available on the MFD.
Oh, it's offering me a new strategy. Wait, we do know that it is going to rain quite soon. So I wonder what strategy it's offering me. We'll have a look when we get to the Right to the pit straight. Softs on 45 rather than 54.
Gap to your teammate behind is 24.5 seconds.
I might be happy to do that. Depends on what track position we hold and where the weather is. It wants me to pit basically earlier than initially planned because by about the same as... So we pit early for these mediums because of the damage. And then it initially tried to schedule our second stop at the same point as we initially were scheduling our second stop before the race. But obviously having pit early for my first stop, it then means that I'm going to have to end up pitting earlier for my second stop as well. But we're trying to make these mediums last until the rain comes. So we don't have to make that second stop for another set of dry tyres. But I don't know how well that's going to go. Daniel's got the inside line again. Try and go deep. Tighten him up on the apex. Hold the position. We're making it work for... he says as he goes wide. We're making it work for ourselves at the moment. Blue flags. Here come the Ferrari behind. Now I've got to be tactical about how I let Leclerc through. Because if I let Leclerc through at the wrong point, then those behind are going to get right up in my grill and go for an overtake themselves. Go on, Charles. And then I have to get defensive again. We should be able to hold the position. Daniel's having a look at the inside, but I'm just closing the door. Very Fernando Alonso-esque defending going on right now. If you remember that battle against Lewis from Hungary last year, IRL, but so far we are making it stick. Had to do nothing but defend for about 7 or 8 laps now, but we are working it to our advantage at the moment. Daniel's gone wide again, come back on and cracked straight into Zhou Guanyu. It's the second time he's done that. First time he did it, I think it was tyre on tyre. I'm not sure if either of them would have picked up any damage from that. No, they're continuing on. No damage, so they've gotten away with it, both of them. So for another look, Daniel. He keeps trying at the wrong point. He needs to just kind of stick with me around these turns and then go for it at the end of the main straight. But gets himself out of position, and then I'm able to just have a little bit more breathing room, albeit a couple of tenths, and then just power away down the straight again. Nicholas Latifi in the pits again. Daniel's got a better run this time. I'm going to go defensive. Past Latifi. Have to use battery here to try and defend. I've got the inside line. He's going to try and hang around the outside. Now he's got the inside line. We're trying to tuck him up against the curb, and he's had too tight a line through turn 3, and we've held position again. We are fighting for this today. P14 still.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Daniel down the inside, hold around the outside. He's getting closer and closer every time now, though. And I can't run too wide because there's an AlphaTauri there itching to get past as well. He's got my inside here. I think Daniel's got me.
Copy.
I'll try and stick it up his inside if I can. He's going to go defensive. Yuki's going even more so. I'll be about to lose a couple of positions here. Try and stay ahead of Yuki if I can. Daniel has finally been able to get the job done.
Radar suggests weather's going to hit in around 5 minutes time, so stay on your toes.
Fucking hell. Rain in 5 minutes time. Daniel's just going to disappear into the distance now. We held on as long as we could.
Okay, no issues
To
with
keep
tyre
Daniel at
wear
bay.
for now. Keep taking care of them.
Kept him behind as long as I possibly could. Now I've got to try and do the same with Yuki Tsunoda, Zhou Guanyu, and Nicholas Latifi. Next front runners aren't for a little while. Latifi's making a move on Zhou Guanyu. Latifi up to P16. Causing a little bit of chaos behind us, aren't we, by being on this out of sync strategy, but we're defending as hard as we can for as long as we can for every single position. Alright, and now it's really starting to get darker. Taking a risk. Taking a risk. I'm going to pit for some softs. Second stop. It's changing my wing again! I didn't know I had front wing damage! Oh, are you kidding me?
Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
I didn't know I had front wing damage! Oh, are you kidding me? As if. I didn't know I had front wing damage, and also, how is my timing? The raindrops have started to fall. I'm hoping that it doesn't rain too hard too quickly. Right, I'm hoping for light rain first, then the shower. Excuse me, Fernando. Unlapping myself, mate, if you don't mind.
Blue flag, blue flag.
No. Faster than him. Go away with your blue flags. I need to get out of blue flag range, otherwise it'll give me a penalty. If it does, I'll just flash back, but it's rather obvious if in real life that I wouldn't get immediately blue flagged after unlapping myself. Fuck off, he's not fast enough. I'm faster than him. I'm gonna have to like let a Fernando through to then sit behind him. That's the difference between real life and the game. In real life, a human would be able to acknowledge the fact that I just unlapped myself and was faster and Alonso wasn't catching me. But in the game, it just sees me in front and is like, oh, blue flags. I'd be quicker in front of him than sat behind him with DRS. So getting stuck behind Alonso here is going to kill whatever recovery we were trying to put together.
Caution, caution.
Yellow flag somewhere. That's Zhou Guanyu going slowly. Zhou Guanyu's retiring.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 12.9 seconds.
He's just round the outside here. It's just there, Zhou Guanyu. The Alfa Romeo is out of the Grand Prix.
Okay, clear.
I don't know when's going to be a good time to go to Inters. There are some damp patches appearing on the track, as you can visibly see. For the minute, there is still decent enough traction with dry tyres. Changeovers now, everyone's in the pits. Annoyingly, those in front of me are going to get the chance to change. I knew I should have pit last lap. I thought to myself as I came around the penultimate corner, oh, traction's gone here, I wonder if I should pit now. I thought I'll do what Alonso does. Alonso didn't pit, so I didn't. I should have. Oh man, this has just been one hell of a frustrating Grand Prix, hasn't it? Everything that could have gone against us has gone against us.
There's a new strategy available.
Yeah, I know there's a new strategy available. I'm pitting for Inters now. Go away. It just said pit on 51. I'm not pitting on 51. I'm pitting now, mate. Or I guess maybe I'm going to go past the start-finish straight and it will count as lap 51. Or start-finish line and it will count as 51. Everything that could have gone against us in this race has. Light rain conditions for the rest of the race. Now we're just questioning whether we will or will not be faster than other drivers in the wet. If Spain's any experience to go by, absolutely not. DRS still enabled, by the way. Did Yuki change to softs? Yuki and Latifi have put softs on. GG, lads. Yuki and Tsunoda are fucked. That should be a couple of places we'll make. Yuki and Latifi are going to pit again. Why they didn't go to Inters is a mystery. And they're still going to come out the pits ahead of me, I think. So P16 is there for the taking. Should we be able to take it? DRS still enabled, look. Tsunoda still using DRS. Like, if it had started to rain a little earlier, I wouldn't have pit for those softs. But because the rain still was more than 5 minutes away, I thought I'll pit for softs and get some laps in. And then as I came out the pits, raindrops started falling. DRS disabled. Now, as I came out of the pits, the raindrops started falling. You couldn't have scripted it worse. As perfect as some of the safety car calls have been in our favour, that is the polar opposite. Gone entirely against me. Oh, piss off. Valtteri Bottas? That's how bad a Grand Prix it's been. I'm getting lapped by Valtteri Bottas. He's running P8. Oh, God. Go on, then. Well, go on, then. Oh, my God, Valtteri. You're such a dick. Just overtake me! What's he doing? Valtteri's drifting everywhere. Oh, Jesus. There goes any chance I had of catching Yuki and Latifi. That cost me 4 seconds.
Yellow flag.
Yellow flag in front as we enter our final lap. That is... Oh, Nicholas Latifi facing the wrong way. What's happened to Nicholas? He's just lost it. He's done a big old pirouette there. Nicholas Latifi, is he coming in? Let's have a look from the TV camera. He's coming into the corner, and then he's quite simply just lost it. Oh, and then very nearly reversed into Yuki Tsunoda. Not a great final lap for Nicholas Latifi. He's just going to have to sit there now and wait for everyone to go past him.
Green flag.
Sorry, Nick. So that'll be P17 for us here on this final lap. It's been one of those Grand Prix. From the early damage to getting stuck behind Fernando Alonso after I pit at the wrong time for my next set of soft tyres, having an extra wing change in there that we didn't want, and then the rain coming and getting just... Everything has gone against me. But on paper, we are the slowest car. So, in theory, it should have been our worst weekend of the year, because we are technically the slowest car now. But after having some pace in qualifying, it doesn't make the race feel any... or doesn't make the finishing position feel any more satisfying, knowing that we've performed as expected. You still want a better expectations, and I still would absolutely have loved to have finished a lot higher. Everything seems like it conspired against us today, but unfortunately that's just the way it goes. There's the summer break coming up in game, and of course we're having a bit of a break now with my trip away. Not necessarily the quality of Grand Prix or content for the video that I would potentially have wanted for a final video before no videos for a few days. But what can you do? That's just how it goes sometimes. Mick Schumacher gets driver of the day. Congratulations to him. Started at the back and managed to get himself points. Started P10, P22 did Mick Schumacher today, and I believe managed to finish P10-ish, potentially. Another win for Charles Leclerc, back-to-back for him now. And Mick, oh no, Mick finished P12 in the end. P12, P20 to P12. Fair play. We went 19 to 8, no, sorry, 16 to 17 in the end, and Teo went 19 to 18. One of them, wasn't it? Just, there's no other way to phrase it, really. It was just one of them. Thankfully, we get a good advantage on our rival because Pierre Gasly DNF'd early doors. And we're very much ahead in that rivalry now. The team are going up to level 12 by the looks of things as well, which should further help getting closer for financial reasons. Fingers crossed we can get to level 15 sooner rather than later, because we are really starting to fall behind now with our progression. We've had so much bad luck with upgrades failing as well in this save so far. And as you can see there, another one failed. The monocoque restructure has unfortunately failed as well. That was in the chassis, presumably. There you go, monocoque restructure failed. So frustrating that we're getting so many failures. It's really holding the car back by quite a bit. We've spent so many resource points on stuff we absolutely shouldn't have needed to spend resource points on. 658 needed for MTUK materials there for durability on that front. Let's put... Again, I'll try and make my teammate faster, because Teo has been really poor recently. He started off the season quite competitive and has just slowly been on a bit of a decline. Oh, something else happened, and something else failed in the chassis department as well. The heavy damper, or the heave damper, sorry, failed. Oh, man. It's just, we could be up to 10 on aerodynamics and chassis as well if everything that we've done passed. We have to hope that regulation changes don't affect us too much moving forward too. You can see how the field has narrowed as the season has gone on, but we could be up with the Alpines and the Haas, to be honest, if everything had passed. We're getting really unlucky there. 3 million in the bank, so we could start spending some of that money and upgrading build time, which will... But quality control is probably better. I'll do quality control there and quality control here. And hopefully that will help us moving forward. We'll start the season break. And we'll fill the activities with a little bit more. We'll go for... I can only do one. So let's do aerodynamics upgrade equipment to try and help with the advancing... the advancing aerodynamic upgrades. There you go. Spec 1 now on quality control in aero and chassis, but we don't have enough resource points to do anything, so it will be to Belgium next then. Again, to reiterate, I'm away for a few days now, so there won't be any more streams or videos here on the channel for about 4 days, but please do come back and join me when we start racing again. Summer break in game, let's call it a summer break in real life. Off to Canada to play FIFA 23 for a few days. There will be content over on the main channel for an extra couple of days as well, and then there'll be a brief break on Chesnoid Gaming as well as ChesnoidPlays. For the YouTube video, that's all for today though. Thank you for your support. Apologies that race went the way it did, but it's the first race that we feel like everything has been like that, other than Spain. A P17 is our worst result since Spain. Well, Monaco's its own story, isn't it? So, fingers crossed, we will be better in Belgium. Spa is a lovely, wonderful track to race, and hopefully we can have a much better, more entertaining Grand Prix that time around. That is it for now, lads. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.